Alright mud lovers, it's a beautiful day here down on the Thames estuary. We are mudlarking, which means we're looking for anything old and interesting on the foreshore. When the tide goes out, I'm at a certain place where there's plenty of bottles and other wonderful little finds. The noise you can hear below my feet is loads of sea glass, just waiting to be picked up. There's so much of it here, just don't know where to start. Let's get some luck in the muck. Well, SEAGLASS fans, check this out. There's a whole line of bottles here, as far as the eye can see. Let's see if we can find anything. A lot of it's from the 1920s, so it's not always going to be old stuff. I'm also after the small things, you know. I don't need any more bottles right now. I had a good time at the tip recently, so see if there's any small things like toys and beads and gold rings and things. We shall see. A bottle jar. The first find out is a little vulcanite stopper. WCR Limited. Yeah, that'll do. Take that. Little 1920s inkwell. Let's clean up right. Looks pretty complete. Well, out in this deeper mud, I've just found this. I'm not sure what it is. It looks like it could be a little, I don't know. I thought it was a necklace at first, but I think it might be part of the ceramic. Yeah, like grapes. Huh. Don't think I'll be taking that, but interesting though. So the sea has a way of separating things, so rather than looking for bottles, which I've got quite a few of, I'm trying to look for the smaller stuff today, and hopefully I can find some areas where some metalwork has washed up and therefore I can get the smaller bits and pieces. Keep on looking, see what we can find. Just says a bullet. 303 maybe? Yeah, got to be in it. From the war. Well, I can see three things in the frame here. First one is slightly blinded by the water there, but looks like a musket ball. kind of cool. I'll put that there. There's a few little objects there. S. An S for sire. Bit of scrap lead and another little musket ball. Nice. Well, sitting amongst the seaweed. This little chap. How cool is he? Little grenadier. Little soldier. Lead toy. It's really cute. A little cockatoo. Oh, I can't leave him behind. Who's a pretty boy? You can see here, this is where the river wall is breaking down. You never know what might be found. A big old pot. Quite nice, but it's got a big hole in it. I'll leave that here. I think someone else left that here as well. Fireproof, made in England. Maybe it was a teapot. Now I'm looking at it, I don't know. Look, I might have had a handle there. Oh, a little bottle. Sadly it's got a hole in it, but it does say Timothy White's The Reliable Cash Chemists.
It's funny holding this bottle because Timothy White's means nothing to me, but having started in 1848 with one store, his empire grew to over 700 shops all over the UK by the 1930s. Many of these were double shops selling pharmaceuticals and hardware. They were a dominant business and bought out smaller chains. However, after 100 years of successful trading, it would be they that were the ones being bought out, by Boots in 1968. And Boots are the company that still dominates the pharmaceutical market and has lasted the test of time. The company Timothy White still continued to sell hardware, but the name disappeared in the 1980s. Do you remember Timothy White's shop near you? If so, leave your memories in the comments below. Despite me never having heard of Timothy White's, this is still a poignant find because it makes me think of the department store Debenhams here in the UK. Sadly, it will probably be closing its 124 stores in the new year after it went into administration. Debenhams, which started as a single shop in central London in 1778, has withstood recessions, depression and world wars, but has finally succumbed to the twin threat of internet shopping and pandemic shutdowns. In another generation, someone might pick up a Debenhams object at a boot fair or something and have the same similar disconnected feeling I have now for a wonderful shop that is lost in time.
Well, here we have a little bead, little glass bead there. A beautiful colour. Some of this old copper, such a beautiful patina. That teal colour really pops, doesn't it? I just found this. I wonder if I can print from that somehow. Get my creative juices flowing. Another little bead. It's cool. Glass bead. Oh, nice. Ah, nice padlock. That might be a nice centerpiece for the artwork. I reckon that could be the center, and then all the stuff flow out of it. Maybe. Well, that'll clean up well.
Day and night. Your skin is put through a lot. Introducing Mud by Thames. Made from real Thames mud. It will rejuvenate your skin. Mud for men. Available exclusively at Debenhams while shops last.
Nothing at Linky.
So another idea I've had is I want to collect up some sea glass and make it into like a brick tile using resin. So no idea if it'll work, but let's get picking up some sea glass now and we'll experiment later back in the studio.
Look at all that. Those are lovely patterns and colours. Yeah, it's beautiful. Decorate pieces. Nice piece with spoon on it and teaspoons. Little Chemist.
Right, lovely big bag of sea glass. Let's go and create something. So now I've got the lovely sea glass and I'm cleaning it in some bleach to give it a real good clean. And what I plan to do is cast it in clear resin to make almost a stained glass effect using sea glass. But first I have to do some experimentation because I don't know how it all works. Now the product that I'm using today is provided by a company called Vuba. They've got a very good reputation, and if it works well then you can see for yourself on the links below where to buy it. And I would recommend this stuff without even using it. It's got some great reviews. So go and check it out if you want to cast anything in resin, if you've got any projects you want to do. I'll be continuing doing some more of this hopefully if it's successful with other things cast in resin. I've got loads of ideas, so stay tuned, subscribe, and once in a while I'll be using this resin to create some really cool pieces of art, things you can hang from windows, maybe some stained glass ideas. I've got loads of ideas. So let's get cracking with this and see how it turns out. So what I've been told is you put in part A and 45% part B. Mix it together and put it in a mould. Now I've already bought a mould. This is for my stained glass window that I'm going to create using sea glass. Can't wait to get started on that. But it'll be a bit foolish for me to go straight in with that. So I do have some other moulds on order, but for the time being I'm just going to use this ricotta tub just as an experiment. It's really clean, and what I'm going to do is put a layer down first, let that set, and then add a coin. So I've got a few coins here that I found recently in the garden. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out, it's really cool. I think I'm probably going to use, I've got a choice here, I've got a Victoria and I've got a George penny, and another one here. Now these aren't valuable coins, so it doesn't matter if they're cast in resin for the rest of their lives, but they will be able to be displayed. Maybe I'll make them into a pendant, hang them from a window, or maybe put them on the Etsy store. I haven't decided yet, but I just want to experiment for now and see how we get going. Trying to work out how much I need by eye. That should do. And that is 57 divided by 2 is about 28. So we go a little bit less than that. We'll go, it's got 57, half it by 2 is 28 and a half. And we'll go a little bit less than that. We'll maybe go 20, maybe go 25. That's roughly 45%. Have 25 grams of part B. Nice one. Should have done up. So that's not a lot. So I'm going to put 2 layers down. First layer, and then let it go hard. Then place the coin on the second one. There you go. Just and hopefully the bubbles disappear. There's quite a few bubbles in there, which is a bit odd. So I'm just going to tap it out to get rid of any bubbles. So let me tell you a bit about Vuba. Their website is vubaresinproducts.com, and they do different ranges. This one is the Vista Lake, and like I mentioned, they'll do other ones as well. Cascade does up to 15mm. They do another version called Stream, another version called Ocean, which is for much deeper resin moulds. So go and check them out if you like the idea. Slight change of plan. I did like the flower, but I might change it to butterflies. Use pins as their antennas. So I brought you outside just so you can see it better. And you can see that the glass looks really cool right there. All I need to do now is to apply the resin, which I've already made up, and literally pour it over. Can't wait to see how it turns out. Wish me luck. You can see that there's some air pockets beneath a few of these, so what I'm going to do is just move the glass around, hopefully just to get air from beneath out the way. So here's part 2 of putting this coin in resin. This is just an experiment still, so I'm yet to get the proper moulds, but this is just for an experiment. 1917 penny, King George V, and it'll be forever cast in resin. So what I need to do is put it in there. Hopefully it won't sink. Hopefully it's gone off enough to hold the coin. Then I'll just put a layer of the resin on top. So here goes. Oh, there we go. It's fairly firm, but I'm not going to move it because I don't want to smudge it or damage it or anything until this resin's in. So just pour it in. Nice thick layer of that. There we go. And I've still got a little bit left over, so I don't want to waste any. So I'm going to go on to another project. So that's set now. Let the bubbles go out of that, and bubbles set. The next experiment is just to put a coin, a button, and a few Thames pins in there and see how that turns out. I will put a garnet in there as well, put a few more pins in. The Vicky penny there, and this is just an experiment. I don't want to make it don't really want to do it so that if it goes wrong, hopefully I can recover it. So here we go. Quite a thin layer this one, this is why I've only got thin objects in, but we'll put another layer in there. Look, nice. Not too much in case it starts spilling over. So what I need to do now is on those coins just make sure there's no air bubbles underneath. So I'll get a couple of pins and I'll just pull it up, push it down again, and there we go, there's a bubble coming out. There you go, spread these out a little bit and all the bubbles should just disappear, I've learnt. Fantastic. You can just add to it, it's quite cool. Just sinks like it's going to the bottom of the river. So I've still got a little bit of resin left, and I thought why not use the lovely bullet that we found. Cleaned it up a little bit, not too much, just enough to show the lovely colour. Got some patina left on it, and let's pop it in here. Maybe make a pendant from it. Don't want to waste any, do we? There we go. Show you that one later if it works. So this is setting quite nicely, and I've had another idea. I want to make it into a ring, but obviously I need some kind of loop to hold it in. Now this is setting, but it's still a little bit wet. So what I can do is apply some found brass that I've manufactured into a loop. I'm just going to try and wedge it in and see if I can then make it into a ring. I'll just peel this back later, slice that. That's really soft metal, that is, from part of a wine bottle. Yellowtail, highly recommend that stuff, very nice. So yeah, let's put it in and find out if it works. No idea if this will work, but we shall see. Maybe I should have put it in sooner. I do know they do actually make ring moulds out of silicone, so I think I'll be buying some of them so I can experiment later on. So, let me show you how a few of these turned out. So here are the finished products. These are the testers that I was just using as a way of practicing how to use the resin without sodding up the final piece. And you can see that I've made a couple of coasters inadvertently. So I'll show you first the ring. That was quite nice, turned out quite well. Unusual little idea, but it seemed to work quite well. Look, just got the impression of the bottle cap and this piece of brass which fits in really well. Quite nice there, and the garnets show up really nicely actually. It's quite a cool little effect. There's a few bubbles in there, but I think I'm using the wrong thickness of resin for some of these, so there is a few more bubbles than I'd hoped. Anyway, that was a success. This coaster, which I've decided is now a coaster, wasn't quite a success because the coin, for some reason, drops down to the bottom. There's a few bubbles in there, but I don't mind the air bubbles. It kind of adds a bit of character to it, and it looks like almost like a galaxy or something like that, which is really cool. But I can still experiment with it. I'm using the wrong sort of molds. I'm just using plastic packaging really, whereas I think I should be using silicone molds, which I have ordered and I've got some ready, so I'll definitely be experimenting more in the future. Another one which turned out really well actually was this. I've decided I'm going to use it as a coaster. Is this chap here, and we've got some various pieces of metal in there, as in pins, buttons and coins, and I feel that I'm going to get interrupted by Nelson. Nelson, thank you very much mate for adding your tuppence in. Good boy. Never looks at the camera. Because he's boss-eyed. So yeah, as I was saying, this worked out quite well. A couple of buttons in there, a couple of old coins, a little toy there, garnet pins and stuff. So that was really interesting. I really like the way that's turned out. Again, I think the thickness of this was too thin for this particular type of resin. I think I need a thinner type, because it has gone a little bit funny in places, but again I don't mind that. It kind of looks like free blown glass. Yes, I really love this stuff. It's really cool for creating unique pieces of artwork. Well, with every project you get a few failures, and this was one of those failures. Unfortunately the bullet didn't quite work out as planned. In fact, it still hasn't quite set. So again, I think this might be due to the wrong type of mould and perhaps the wrong thickness of resin that I'm using. I don't know. I might be able to still make something out of that. I'll leave it in there and see what happens. I was going to make it into some kind of pendant, but the bullet slipped down because the bottom of the bowl was slightly convexed, so it couldn't quite sit flat. So again, this is all a learning curve, and it's great to experiment. Don't be afraid to get things wrong and balls things up, because it only goes to help you learn as you go forward if you try new things like this. But yeah, overall really happy with the varied results, including the awesome stained glass SEAGLASS window pane coming up now.
And finally, this is the stained glass SEAGLASS window pane with lovely blue butterflies with the pins as antennas, and lovely pieces of found SEAGLASS in all various shapes and patterns and textures to make up the rest of the background, including green glass at the bottom, moving up into aqua glass, and then going into clear glass, which kind of gives it a meadowy feel. What's nice as well is some of the textures you can actually still feel because it's risen above the resin. So I'm really happy with this, and I'll definitely be making more in the future. So stay tuned and watch out for that. So I hope you enjoyed the mudlarking and the crazy creations made with the finds. If you liked it, please subscribe, share and comment if you want, and I'll see you on the next mud venture. So see you later, mud lovers.